Hi, morning, it's TEMPHUiBIS here, and today we're going to do my Q&A, the first Q&A of 2018. And I'd like to say thanks for the questions. Got some cool questions here, guys. So I'm just using my mouse here to scroll to the top of my list here. And the first question comes from Keyboard Drunken Boxer. Will you be buying Kingdom of Deliverance? I never even heard of that game until you actually wrote the question down. Then I went and watched some gameplay of that. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not really my kind of game, to be honest. You know, personally, it didn't even look much like a game from what I was seeing. It looked like just a movie. You know, it wasn't something that was actually interesting, so I definitely won't be buying it and all that. Next question is from Slaw, and this is actually my teammate at an upcoming Tekken team tournament. So he would like to know, when did you start playing stick? Yeah, I started playing stick here about probably around when Tekken 5 came out. I think I was using my stick on Street Fighter 4 and Tekken 5, and basically, it could have been a lot earlier than that, because I had an arcade stick for my Mega Drive in the early 90s. So not early, mid 90s, and that arcade stick was stiff as hell. It was a bad stick, and I thought all arcade sticks was like that. If I knew arcade stick could be as smooth as the ones I have now, the ones that's today, I could have used arcade stick back then. It was only when my friend who's good with arcade sticks came round and used that one, he realised, nah, this arcade stick is shit. So, could have been a lot longer than that, boy. And he asked here, will you be switching to PC gaming for Tekken in the near future? Yeah, I could be. Because, I mean, most of the East London Fighters group use PC more than PS4. That's one thing I've actually come to notice. So it would be good to practice with you guys a lot more often. And then on top of that, I know that with PC, you'll be able to mod the characters a bit more better and everything and all that. And I think there's a lot of limitations in the PS4 customization mode that they could have added much more better stuff, in which I know PC, you'll be able to just do a lot more if I find out how to do that. So yeah, there is a possible chance I'm going to be switching to the PC gaming in the near future. So yeah. And next question is from johnjambotart. He says, why do you still have VHS tapes, my brother? Now he asked that question right here because in the video where I asked guys for questions, there was actually videotapes behind me. So first off, those videotapes was actually my brother's videotapes, they weren't mine. And he ain't lived here for a very, very long time. So these are just basically just random things there. I don't even know what's on those tapes. I still have tapes in my room though, you know. I don't have a VCR to play them on at the moment, but I still have VHS tapes. And the reason why I still have the ones that I have is because some of them are some old school cartoons that you don't even see on the internet these days. Some rare stuff. I got some great kung fu films, which the dubbing on those ones were better than the dubbing you see online. I don't know what the hell they were redubbing it for. Some of the films I have are pretty cool ones. Some of the ones that's on there, the camera's all zoomed in and everything and all that. Like, you can't even see half the screen, obviously, because internet and blah, blah. But, yeah. And, yeah, I still got some of those videos, man. But, hey, man, you got to keep some of those around as well, man. These things are like the godfathers to us. This is what we grew up with, man. VHS, man. It's always about the VHS back in those days, man. How can you not like VHS? I know that it's outdated, but it's still something good that I'd like to. Still something I have. I might get another VCR one day. You never know. Probably a cheap one. Watch some of those legendary tapes again as well. So now Stephen Jamieson asks, "What's the worst and best foods you've ever tasted?" Okay, for the worst food. I'm trying to think of things that made me want to throw up. I can't think of the worst foods right now, but I can definitely think of the best foods. You know, I think one of the best foods, obviously, is the kebab I get in North London. It's only in specific places you can get this kebab, you know. And one is Holloway's Best Kebab, which everyone knows. I've spoke about that lots of times in my videos. And after Holloway's Best Kebab, you got Crystal, which is in Holloway as well. But then there's also another Crystal in Wood Green, and that one is a real terrific one. That one's one I tend to go to a lot more often right now because it's kind of a simple drive to get there. And even though it's North London, it's still, you know, I'm that type of guy who would drive all the way from East London to North London just to get food. That's how good the kebab is. And I know some favorite foods is Italian, and I think one of the best Italian restaurants ever is in Southend. It's called Il Pescatore or Il Pescatore. I think that's how you pronounce it, or Il Pescatore. And I really love the food there, man. Some of the food, the secret cream they add into most of their dishes, absolutely amazing. But still, worst food ever tasted. I just think the only thing I can say the worst food is certain foods that were in primary school at some point. I remember this time there was this spaghetti hoops. I don't know who made it or how off or out of date was the thing, you know, but the spaghetti hoops did not taste like, the sauce in it as well did not taste like the normal spaghetti hoops that you usually get. The sauce tasted off, everything was disgusting. Most of the kids couldn't even freaking eat it. I remembered that. So then a lot of kids, just literally just threw that shit to the side because it was bad. It was poor. So that's probably the worst thing I can say. And second question, he said, Sony have a scheme called PS2 to PS4, where PS2 games get a HD upscale and trophy support for PS4. What are the PS2 games you'd like to see on PS4? Mine are all the Tekken and Mortal Kombat games. You know, I wanted to do a video on this, to be honest. Not even just about what PS2 games I want to see on the PS4, but also what PS3 games I want to see on the PS4, what PS1 games I want to see on the PS4. You know, I know that Burnout Paradise is getting a re-release on the PS4, and I can't wait for that. So, what PS2 games? Well, the Tekken and Mortal Kombat games, yeah, I can definitely agree with that. What other games have we got here? There's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. I did actually prefer 3. You know, really love that game. Sean Palmer's Pro Snowboarding. Yeah, snowboarding. Yeah. What other PS2 legends about? Because there's a lot of PS2 games out for the PS4 that there's a lot of PS2 games that have now already come out for the PS4. I would have said them in the list if they didn't, like Grand Theft Auto 3 and Zone of the Enders. I'm trying to remember what other PS2 games that I like so much. There might not have been that many I liked, really. I think there's more PS1 games I'd like to see rather than PS2 games. So there's not much others I could say. Yeah, there's not much others I could say. Okay. And now, Silence PP7 asked, I think the first ever video I saw of watch reviews was Destroy Unwanted, like 10 years ago. Time flies. Any chance you'll do a few more of those? Probably not. I did have some things I wanted to destroy at some points and everything that year, but I kind of lost a little dig about doing that. Obviously, I did that Destroy Unwanted. Even though I uploaded that video about 10 years ago, I did it a lot of time before that. I was young and stupid, doing a lot of crap, really. I think I did that video, what, 2002? Possibly 2003? Yeah, I did that. I did that video a very long time ago, boy. I did that video pretty long. So, you know, no, I don't think I'll be doing any few more of those. You never know what the future holds, but I don't really have any sort of plans to do those. It was funny while it lasted, though. And 2, what forgotten Resident Evil characters would you like to see in a future title or spin-off? Mine are Ark Thompson from Resident Evil Survivor and Carlos Oliveira from PS3. I forgot what the guy's surname was, but he was from Code Veronica. Stephen. It was Stephen something side. I think it was something side. I think his surname was 2 syllables and the second syllable was side. Or Stephen from Resident Evil Code Veronica. I'd like Carlos Oliveira from PS3, from Resident Evil 3 as well. So yeah, definitely, definitely those 2 as well, man. And LuchaLibreGamer. I'm assuming, is that high, or is it a different way you guys say it? I am Ricardo. Greetings from Puerto Rico. I'm a new follower now. So have you played DBZ Attack of the Saiyans on DS or even heard of it? Nope. I haven't heard of that game on the DS. Obviously, I don't really know about many DS games. I never really owned a DS, and DS wasn't really something that I was that into. The only game I knew that was on the DS that shouldn't have been on the DS is Luigi's Mansion 2. It's annoying that game was on the DS and not a console. But yeah, it's not a game that I know much about. So, and now from JSJ07, who are your current top 5 UFC fighters on the active roster? I think one of my favorite ones right now, yeah, is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Now, I know when you're talking about active roster, you're probably not talking about Conor McGregor, because he's not actually fought for a long while and it looks like he may not fight ever again. But at the end of the day, he's still at this point lightweight champion, and he's still on the website classified on the UFC roster. So I'm definitely going to say him. You know, I really do. A lot of people may hate Conor McGregor because of the way he speaks and like that, and because of the fact he isn't. So yeah, Conor McGregor, I've always been a fan, yeah, of the way he fights, the style he uses. Obviously, he uses Taekwondo, he uses a lot of kickboxing, a lot of movements, a lot of, just a lot of different things mixed. And I feel like he is one of the future fighters because of the way he fights. I know that a lot of people don't like the fact he ain't defended his title, he ain't done this, he ain't done the thing, that he talks this and stuff. But when he is in the cage, I do respect what he's done, and I do have a lot of respect for what he has done. I do just wish, yeah, that he will fight again, though. I do wish that. And some other fighters that that I like to see on the active roster. Obviously, I like Uriah Hall. You know, he's another fighter who has a lot of good different movement and that as well. Yancy Medeiros is a pretty good fighter. I like TJ Dillashaw, and I obviously like the Mighty Mouse. You know, Demetrius Johnson, he's just an amazing fighter. Just, what the hell, man. He is one of the most amazing fighters. Stipe Miocic is very great as well. Got quite a lot, yeah. I'm starting to get into a lot of new fighters as well, like Darren Till. Oh yeah, I forgot I was telling you, I like Jimmy Manuwa. Can't wait to watch him fight next month. I'm going to be there in the crowd. Oh, I just clocked. I went over. You just said 5, top 5. Oh. Freaking hell, I haven't actually rated them like one over the other or anything like that, yeah? So, so I'm going to do it in that certain sense. The 5th fight I'm going to have to say is probably TJ Dillashaw. The Fourth fight, I'm going to have to say is Uriah Hall. Third fighter, I'm going to say Demetrius Johnson. Second, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And top, Conor McGregor. Yeah. Oh, damn, I thought my mouse ran out of battery. Mr. Heavy Metal Dude, sorry, Mr. Heavy Metal Hero Dude asks, what metal bands do you like and why? Some of the metal bands here that I like, well, I'm not so sure if these are proper heavy metal. What I was going to say Kill Switch Engage, but they're a bit more. They're not really as much metal. They're just more of a rock. The only metal I can think of right now is Slipknot, and I do like Slipknot a lot. You know, I did like a couple of Skin Dreads songs and all that. You know, and there's a band that made a song called I Can't Raise the Dead, and I forgot who the name of the band is. You know, if you type in I Can't Raise the Dead, it should come up with the name of the band, maybe. But that song, I Can't Raise the Dead, it's a damn great song. So there is that as well. So yeah, that's that I can say for that one. And let's go to Knick-Knack. First one. Not sure if you downloaded them or have any interest in playing them. Do you have any thoughts on Tekken 7's guest DLC characters Geese and Noctis? Yeah, I've got complete separate opinions for both of them, really. But you know, Geese was like a character that I guess Tekken is great to have. Having Akuma was the same thing, yeah. Them characters were great to have. You know, at first I was like, Geese, where did I know him from? I knew him from somewhere. I was like, oh man, I know I heard the name Geese Howard before, and I was really like, I forgot. Then I had to look it all up again and think, oh yes, he's from King of Fighters and all that. In fact, not Fatal Fury and all those old school games. And I was like, yeah. And Geese's style, it's a great style. You know, I always thought of him. At one point, I was thinking of him. Hey, he looks like some sort of Japanese Brian Fury, kind of like. Just kind of reminds me of that in a way. But he's all great and stuff. Noctis, I didn't know anything about Noctis because I never knew Final Fantasy 15. I knew when they were showing the trailer, I knew like this is Final Fantasy, so I'm like, what Final Fantasy is this? Honestly, that's a character that obviously right off the bat should have been in the Soul Calibur. I mean, I guess yeah. I guess the one thing Tekken is always known for is for doing something completely different. You know, it's already a game where you have a kangaroo fighting. Well, not in Tekken 7. You have a bear fighting and all that. You have all these random things in Tekken 7. So I guess when you think about it, it doesn't really. Yeah. When you think about it, it's really cool. It's really cool what they're doing, but it was a shock to see that sort of character there. Now, his second question. I remember back in a video of yours talking about your favourite fighting game characters that you're both a fan of, Muay Thai characters, and practice it like Adon and Ray Rat. My second question is, how come you aren't a big fan of the Tekken character Bruce, as you don't main him, nor did he make the countdown when he too is a practitioner? Well, the characters themselves, like Adon and Ray Rat, it wasn't just so much them being a Muay Thai fighter that I liked. It was also the fact that they did have some characteristic. You know, there's a lot of inspiration behind there's like massive inspiration behind these two characters, because I'm pretty sure you've seen my videos now on Zapedy. You may now know who Zapedy is. Here's a little trivia. Zapedy's build, as in his muscular build, is based off add-ons. Ray Rat is the character who more or less brought me into the Anthro fighting world. It's more or less the character who made me an Anthro fan. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's personal things like that, you know. Bruce didn't really, I don't know, I didn't really connect to Bruce in any sort of way like I really liked him or anything like that. I remember when I was playing Tekken 2, I was using a lot of characters, and I did use Bruce back then as well, but I just think I moved, when it comes to Tekken at least, I just got more into King, because King just has the characteristic, you know. When I first ever saw King, I thought he was an Anthro character, so that was a bit of another reason why I did sort of move closer to King. Bruce just wasn't, I don't know, he just wasn't something, he just wasn't there. I do get the question though, I do get it. Sometimes these things are just different, innit, really? Okay. And the Game Capsule. Since getting my PS4, I really got into collecting the trophies. I know in the whole scheme of things, they're meaningless, but what purpose do you feel collecting PlayStation trophies serve? Does it display that a gamer is good at games? Does it show they're a completionist? Or show something else entirely? What's your take on it? Well, in my opinion, it definitely can show that you are a good gamer, into the sense if it's a game knowing that getting all the trophies is hard. If you've managed to platinum this game, it will show your persistence, you know. I mean, I always will look at someone who's got a high PlayStation number, because, you know, the more trophies you get, you get this sort of rating number. The higher your number, the more respect I would have for you, especially when, think of it this way, if I was going to hire a games tester to test games, I'd want to make sure he's a damn good gamer. Now, if he came to me and said, "Hey, I'm a games tester. I'm a good gamer at games and everything," and I see that your number is 4, that means you haven't really caught that many games to say that you're this good games tester. I'm gonna need something else. If I see that your number's as high as 48, then it'll be like, okay, this guy's worth looking at. So you got to sort of think it from that perspective. A lot of people may say that, dude, I don't need to clock the game fair. I just want to do the main story and that's it. Now, my personal opinion is that, you know, damn, you're not really that much of a proper true gamer in my opinion. Because I mean, I think like especially Grand Theft Auto 3, that's a big example. If you clock that game, if you just went and done the story mode in that game but not done any of the other things in that game, that's something like 40%, 40%. You feel like as if the person ain't done anything. So when you go ahead and platinum and get all trophies and stuff, that's when you know it's all perfect in that. You know, so yeah, so I would say it does display if the gamer is good at games. If you platinum Dead Space 2, you're sick. You're sick. You're sick at games. You're fantastic. You're the best. That's all I've got to say on that situation. Okay. And StockyDoccy. How you doing, mate? And he asks, are there any games? Sorry, man, I'm not reading properly, boy. Are there any games you are looking forward to? If so, why? Well, I'm looking for Burnout Paradise remake on the PS4 again. I mean, I'll gladly buy that game again because now I can stream it. That game is probably besides Tekken 6 and Tekken Tag 2, that game is probably my best ever game on the PS3. That was legend. You know, so yeah, Burnout Paradise is just an amazing game. Another game I'm also can't wait for is Yoshi 2018. You know, Yoshi's Woolly World was was amazing. That was a legend game. You know, it was an amazing game because it was different. It was such a different take on how you could play with platform games using wool. You know, you could get things that could stitch you just like wool, like with wool stitches to something. You know, there were so many ways of things. It was such a lovely different concept, and it looks like they're going to try and sort of mix the concept with even more different stuff. And me and my friend Anthony, we clocked Yoshi's Woolly World fully 100%, and we definitely would love to do the same thing with Yoshi 2018. So there is that. Anything else I'm looking forward to? Well, I know there's probably going to be a Smash Brothers coming out for the Switch. They say it's going to come out either the end of this year or next year. In my personal opinion, it should come out in 2019. You know, I've got a real good detailed reason on that. If you want to know, comment below. What other games am I looking forward to? I swear there was something that I was interested in at one point, but I kind of forgot it. Nah, there's not anything else. Well, I hope I've said enough already. And the second question on that: what are your thoughts on Floyd Mayweather potentially making a UFC debut? Think he could do well? Well, I doubt it really. I don't know if he's ever practiced some kicking techniques and any grappling stuff in secret while training for his boxing. Because one thing I know is that Manny Pacquiao actually did some Muay Thai. As well as his boxing, he did some Muay Thai. It also helped with some of his movements. So you never know, Floyd might have actually done some few things. Will it help him against our top-ranked UFC guy in the UFC? Nah, I doubt it. Now, they're already doing some talks about him fighting CM Punk. You know what the funny thing about that is? Regardless if CM Punk wins or regardless of what sort of circus that's going to be like to MMA fans' eyes, that could be the most money an MMA fight could get. That'd be the most fight any MMA fighter would ever make in an MMA fight. And that would be a sad thing for people who love martial arts and have a lot of respect for martial arts. That would be crazy. You know, that would be crazy. And I think that somebody here also has a question about Floyd Mayweather as well. So here is AirCages. All right. The first question: have you seen Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather boxing match? What are your thoughts? Do you think they should have a rematch only with Floyd stepping in the octagon this time? Who would win? Well, I saw the boxing match and Conor did do perfect. My personal opinion is that Conor, leading up to the fight, I thought Conor was going to use a little bit more movement. The way he moves in the cage, he didn't really quite move like that in the boxing ring. I know that Michael Venom Page had his boxing match and he moved more or less the exact same way he moves in the boxing ring, but I know that he faced somebody who wasn't really as good, and Conor was facing the best in boxing, arguably. Obviously, Conor did very well. A lot of people are saying that Floyd allowed him to do well just so he can tuck himself out. I don't think that was the case. I think Floyd has slowed down in his older years, and even his experience and not alone was able to take Conor out. Should he have a rematch? I think he could have a rematch. It will just generate a lot of more money and everything and all that. Because all Conor would have to just try and work on is his cardio. If he works on his cardio, then maybe he could do very, very well in the rematch. I doubt Floyd will do it, really. But then you said though that only Floyd stepping in the octagon. Well, like I said to StockyDoccy just a second ago, I think that Floyd might have a chance against maybe a proper low experienced fighter in the octagon. You know, he might have done some training here and there leading up, but if he was to face Connor in the octagon, it'd be ridiculous. Connor's kicks are really good. He's really good at wearing people down with kicks because he does oblique kicks and does good leg kicks and he does good body kicks, his teep kicks. Man, I can't see how Floyd would do against that. And boxers aren't really taught to clinch, taught what to do in clinches, because when they clinch in a box match, they get broken up. If Connor clinches with Floyd, you know, and Connor has some good ground game himself. Yes, he may have lost on the ground to three people, but trust, Connor has a bit of a ground game as well. You know, he can. So I can't see. It would definitely be absolutely you know, maybe we'll have to see what happens in it, really. Second, what are your thoughts on CM Punk as a UFC fighter? Well, right now, CM Punk here, obviously, I don't know who is he ever going to beat if he fights again. I remembered when they brought in this guy named Mickey Gall. At first, I thought he was probably going to beat Mickey Gall because they've brought in this random fighter who's only had one win, nothing else. So I thought experience would be okay for that. I only realised when I saw that Mickey Gall was a brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu, that's when I was like, uh-oh, it's going to be a white belt versus a brown belt. I thought, no. You know, I think they brought in Mickey Gall to just be a random sort of jobber, but he ended up being a really damn big threat. Might have been a mistake on the UFC side. That's what I believe. So they may have to bring in somebody who they feel can't hang with him at all. Because I was saying that if CM Punk won, then people were going to just say, "No, you just beat a random guy who's only 1-0 and everything and all that." So, but at the end of the day, I have the utmost respect for CM Punk for stepping into the cage. Yes, it's because he made a fuck lot of money, right? Yeah, but still, anyone who could step into a cage like that, yeah, that always would deserve respect. That always would deserve respect, mate. You know, so that was damn good. So yeah, my thoughts on him as a fighter is that I don't know if he's gonna improve. I mean, he seems to be working hard enough. He seems to be doing all the right moves and stuff, but is it enough? He may have got into this thing too late, so I'm not too sure. Mr. Scorpion 360X. First question. Are there any other fighting game tournaments besides Tekken that you'd want to consider going to? Well, going to or competing in? Because when you think about it, the tournaments I'm going to is not just Tekken. Or some of the competitions I went to. It's not just Tekken competition. There's other competitions there as well. But if you're talking about competing, okay. So yeah, the other games I wouldn't, if I was going to compete in, I personally wouldn't mind trying arms in a competition. I'm not really good at arms, but arms to me is a pretty fun game as well, and it's good to see that it is in competitions. When I saw it in Evo, I saw there was like 320 or 330 entries in that tournament. I thought that was pretty cool. You know, arms can be a really cool game. And I'm thinking, could I go into a Soul Calibur 6 tournament? But it might be quite hard to go into those now because I've put in so much work on Tekken now. It's kind of like as if I've changed my life now, as if like Tekken is not even a game anymore, man. It's a commitment. It's a way of life now, man. So it's quite hard to know if there is going to be another one that I will continue going to. But the two games I just said to you were ones that I wouldn't mind trying. And second question, what is the most dumbest moment in any game that has ever happened to you that makes you want to break a baby's neck? Well, I wouldn't want to make me break a baby's neck. Of course, don't that. But, But I think one of the dumbest moments and everything about was when I had a game, Dead Ball Zone for the PS1. That was a game that used to crash during the saving. That was annoying because you basically just lose your memory card just like that. You're playing a game, you save it, and it crashes during the save. And it did it many times. It wasn't just once, it did it many times. It was actually, that was the way the game was. It crashed during the save. So it was like my advice to people was, anyone who had Dead Space, make sure your memory card was empty. Make sure you had one memory card specifically for Dead Bullzone. Because if you had any other important games you had on that same memory card, you lose it all. And that was what made me. I used to punch the wall in my house all the time and everything. You know, that's what used to make me frustrated. Yeah. Okay. Oh shit. Well, guys, I know you was expecting me to go all the way. I ain't that flexible yet. But this is the furthest I can go, guys. That's the end of the questions, dude. That's the end of the questions. Yeah. Thanks very much for those questions, guys. And there's going to be probably a lot more streams, a lot more Tekken streams, and probably some more UFC streams coming up later on. So thanks very much, guys. I'll speak to you all later. Love who you are.